Hi, my name is Jerry and I collect 1970s toys, mainly toy soldiers, and that's what this video is all about. This is the third video comparing the two main toy soldier manufacturers in the 1970s, in Europe I should say, in the 1970s, and that's of course Airfix and Matchbox. And this time I'm going to compare the British Commandos, and it was highly requested before, one of the most requested sets in earlier videos in the comments. So I'm going to compare these and try to pick a winner. It's not going to be easy with these two sets, and I'm not going to judge them from like historical accuracy or something like that. I'm going to try to judge them just on like if I was 10-12 years old back in the 70s and which set I would have liked the most, and maybe I'll throw in a little bit of a 57-year-old toy nerd in there as well. So first I'll compare the boxes, box art and everything, and then the figures, poses. So first the boxes and box art. Me being born in 1968, I remember the Target boxes mostly because these were released from 1973 and I was probably buying the few Airfix boxes I got to buy in like the mid to late 70s. I really like the design and layout in these boxes, and the back is pretty cool as well, as it had both painting instructions and some history on the different units. But that said, the 69 to 72 brown box, I think is the one that really does this watercolor painting justice, because it still has the whole background on there as well, with some explosions and fire. What kid doesn't like that? The back is nice on this one as well. There's no painting, I mean, there's no history on the units, but there's painting instruction and what other sets are available at the time. The Matchbox though, they were all so good, these ones. I really like the depth this brings with the one soldier. This is the officer usually in the front, and then some other soldiers in the rear. I really like it. It's really action-packed. Some commandos landing with the dinghy, some trying to scale the cliff there, and of course then the officer. The back is not that exciting compared to the Airfix, but it does the job, I guess. So putting them next to each other, it's a tough choice, I gotta say. Both are great, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Matchbox on this one. I just think the figures are a little bit better painted, and I really like the depth it creates having the soldiers in the back and then the officer up front. But I mean, it's a close call. So for the Airfix set, you get 29 figures, 7 poses. That's kind of the regular Airfix ratio of figures and poses. The Matchbox set is a bit different from all the other Matchbox sets. Usually 15 combat troops, they call them. But this one says 13, and that's of course you get the ladder and the dinghy. And I guess those take up 2 spaces in the molds when they're casting these. I think the dinghy is a fun little addition, but I'm not too fond of the soldier on the ladder. So I don't know if Commandos brought ladders with them on missions, but yeah, he's in there, and that's taken away some other figures that could have been in there. And it's kind of a shame, because in the 1/72nd scale set, there's actually a standing rifleman. And I gotta tell you, I'd rather take that any day over the ladder and the soldier climbing it, because actually that would give us 2 standing riflemen for the set. And by the way, also that's in this set the only figure there's a double of or anything extra. It's the prone soldier with the knife and the Thompson. Otherwise there's all individual figures. And there's other things they could have brought from the 1/72nd scale set as well. In that set, there's also a kneeling and standing Bren gunner, and you could have gotten one each of those instead of the dinghy and the soldier paddling it. So 2 standing riflemen, a kneeling Bren gunner, and a standing Bren gunner. I think that would have made this set pretty much unbeatable. But let's have a look at all the figures. So we'll start with the officers I figured. With Matchbox, you get 2 of them. And for Airfix you get 1, and that's a real classic. I really like these though, because first of all, they Bill Farmer differentiated these 2 from the other figures for as far as wearing a beret, and they also have a little bit more equipment on them with the webbing and the Bren gun mag pouches and everything. But we have the same problem as a lot of people point out with the Matchbox ones. The heads and hands are kind of funky looking and kind of not to scale. Whilst the Airfix officer is just, I mean, it's a classic toy soldier. Pretty much doesn't get better than this for a toy soldier officer. So even the Matchbox ones being pretty good, it's an easy win for Airfix. Next up, submachine gunner. Very important figure in a toy soldier set. Even though the face is not perfect on this one either from Matchbox, I think it's a much better figure. It's a lot more dynamic, moving forward, almost firing from the hip. I'm not sure if this guy's even firing. It's going to be hard to manage recoil standing like that. just looks kind of a little bit lame, whilst the Matchbox one really looks aggressive. So this one easily goes to Matchbox. Next up, grenade throwing soldiers. Very important also in a toy soldier set. Two really nice figures. I like that the Matchbox ones, the details on the Thompson, having an extra grenade on the belt, having a bayonet. Just those things make it a really nice figure. But the Airfix one is, of course, is really, really good as well. So this is really hard. Both, they're a little bit different in their stance, but I think they're both kind of dynamic and cool. So yeah, I don't know, I gotta call this one a draw, it's at least as far as I'm concerned. Then we have two very different Bren gunners here. Again, I think the details on the Matchbox Bren gun is a lot better than on the Airfix. It would have been fun to see the kneeling and standing Bren gunner as well from the 1/72nd scale set. And as you all remember, this one was a pain to try to set up on the floor of your room because it always kept falling over. So for me, I'm picking the Matchbox. Running soldiers, not one of my favorites. This one from Matchbox, I don't like a pose like this where he looks like he's just about to stab someone with the bayonet. It just doesn't, you can't really use it for anything else than just that. I think the Airfix one is a lot better that way because you can either have him being like a soldier coming to support from the rear, or you can have him like he's just about to stick someone with the bayonet, or you can actually have him running, shooting from the hip, kind of, sort of, because the barrel is level like that. So for play, I think this is a lot more versatile of a figure, so that one really goes to Airfix. Another figure that's not one of my favorites is a crawling soldier with a knife and a submachine gun. It's fine. I think it's kind of hard to play with. They are pretty comparable, I guess. Only thing is, one, I guess, is left-handed and one is right-handed. One has the Thompson, one has the Sten gun. And since both sets have submachine gunners with Thompsons, I think I'm going to pick the Airfix one just because it's got a Sten gun, so that would make like a little bit of a variation to a set. And Rifleman, since there's only one, this one goes to Airfix as well. But the one from Matchbox, I think, looks pretty good though, and I think that would be very hard to pick a winner if Matchbox had made one. But again, this one is for Airfix. Then of course Matchbox had a bunch of different other figures. The soldier on the ladder, I'm going to pull him away because I don't want to sit here holding him. But it's not a bad figure then. It's kind of a fun little thing. If you put him together with this one, the soldier with the grapnel, I guess the ladder guy could actually be climbing a rock and have a rope to support him or something. And you can get some string from your mom if you find a cool cliff to set these up. So he could use the grapnel to get the rope up there. That would be kind of neat. And then you have the prone soldier with a rifle, which is okay, but then I think you need to tell a story. You need a kneeling or standing rifleman. So this guy could be crawling up to like a good firing position, then get up on his knees to fire. That's pretty good. The dinghy, it's okay. I wish they put some, like you get some crates or something, or weaponry or something like that from maybe like, you know, the weapons we have from the infantry support group from Airfix. That would be kind of neat to put in there. But then you have this one. This is a figure that I think should be in every commando set. A soldier with a knife sneaking up on a guard, gonna kill him silently. It's a shame that Airfix doesn't have a figure like this, because this is a really, really cool little figure. So now we've been through all the figures and the boxes, and now I gotta pick a winner, and this is really difficult because they're doing such different things. The other comparisons, the sets are more alike as far as firing poses and what they're supposed to do, but these are just so different in that for like the Matchbox set, you only get 5 firing figures, and in the Airfix you get 24 if we count the grenade throwing soldiers, and 25 for the Airfix if we count the officer, which I always played him like, you know, the revolver was a little bit up in the air like that because he was just from recoil, so I was playing him as he was firing as well. And now that I have both, I would have played the Airfix set like part of a bigger raid, a bigger operation where you needed a lot of commando firepower. And I would have played the Matchbox set like a small unit trying to infiltrate, doing like not just combat stuff, but, you know, scaling cliff walls and riding dinghies across rivers, killing guards silently with just their knife. So, and I think the Matchbox set does that really great. So I have a problem picking a winner. And I'm actually, even though some people are going to get mad, I'm actually going to call this a draw. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you can pick a favorite or not, and we can kind of compare. But anyways, that's it for this video. There'll be three more of these in the future, since Matchbox did 6 sets of toy soldiers in 1/32 scale. Yeah, that's it. Catch you guys later. Cheers.